There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize something uncomfortable. The harder they try to be noticed, the more invisible they become. Most people spend years chasing attention without even realizing it. They want everyone to like them. They want to be admired. They want to be recognized. They want people to constantly reassure them that they matter. And because of this need, they begin performing for the world. They change their opinions to fit in. They constantly explain themselves. They seek validation from strangers. They become anxious when they are ignored and excited when they are noticed. Without realizing it, they hand over their emotional power to other people. This is the hidden danger of needing attention. The moment your self-worth depends on other people's reactions, you lose control of yourself. Your mood rises and falls according to how much attention you receive. A compliment makes you happy. Silence makes you insecure. Criticism destroys your confidence. Approval becomes your addiction. And anything that controls your emotions eventually controls your life. Human nature has a strange tendency. People are naturally drawn toward those who do not desperately need them. Think about it. Why are some people so magnetic without trying? Why do certain individuals command attention even when they remain quiet? It is because there is something powerful about a person who appears complete within themselves. A person who is not asking to be seen, not begging to be liked, not constantly seeking approval. Their presence communicates something rare. It communicates abundance. They seem as though they would remain the same person whether they were praised or ignored. And that kind of emotional independence creates intrigue. The opposite is also true. Desperation lowers perceived value. When someone constantly seeks attention, people unconsciously sense insecurity. It sends a message that says, I need your approval to feel important. And the more someone needs approval, the less powerful they appear. This is why chasing attention is a losing game. No amount of validation is ever enough. If your happiness depends on being noticed, you will spend your life trying to impress people who are too busy seeking attention themselves. The truth is that attention is temporary. Today people celebrate you. Tomorrow they forget you. Today they praise you. Tomorrow they criticize you. If your identity depends on these reactions, your peace will always remain fragile. Power begins the moment you stop needing the room to notice you, because then you are free to think differently, free to pursue your goals quietly, free to make decisions that are not based on popularity. Free to become yourself instead of becoming what others expect. The irony is that this freedom often attracts more attention than desperation ever could. People notice those who are comfortable with themselves. They notice those who are not trying to impress everyone. They notice those who move with quiet confidence. Because confidence does not demand attention, it naturally creates it. This is why many of history's most powerful individuals were not obsessed with being seen. They were obsessed with becoming. They focused on developing themselves, their skills, their discipline, their purpose, their inner strength. They invested their energy inward instead of outward, and over time, their presence became impossible to ignore. The goal is not to reject attention completely. The goal is to stop depending on it. Because once you no longer need constant validation, people lose the ability to manipulate your emotions. You stop performing. You stop chasing. You stop exhausting yourself trying to be noticed. Instead, you become centered, grounded, independent, and there is something deeply attractive about a person who is completely comfortable without an audience, because that person has discovered a secret that most people never learn. Your value does not increase when more people pay attention to you. Your value increases when you no longer need their attention to know who you are. And once you stop chasing attention, another transformation begins to happen naturally. You stop revealing everything about yourself and start understanding the mysterious power that comes from saying less and allowing people to wonder. Once you stop chasing attention, something else begins to change naturally. You no longer feel the need to reveal everything about yourself. Most people talk too much. They explain their plans before they happen. They reveal every emotion they feel. They tell everyone what they are working on, what they fear, and what they hope to achieve. They believe that being completely open will make people understand them better. But in many cases, the opposite happens. The more you reveal, the less mystery remains. And when mystery disappears, so does a certain kind of power. Human beings are naturally curious creatures. We are drawn toward things we do not fully understand. We pay attention to people who cannot be completely figured out. There is something intriguing about a person who speaks carefully, reveals little, and keeps certain parts of themselves private. That mystery creates interest. It creates respect. It creates presence. This does not mean becoming secretive or dishonest. It simply means understanding that not everything needs to be shared. Not every thought deserves an audience. Not every goal needs an announcement. Not every emotion needs an explanation. Powerful people understand this. They know that words are valuable, and valuable things are not wasted. Instead of speaking constantly, they observe. Instead of revealing everything, they listen. Instead of trying to convince everyone of their importance, they allow their actions to speak. There is a reason why some people lose motivation after announcing their goals. The moment they receive attention for something they have not yet accomplished, their mind feels rewarded too early. The applause comes before the achievement. The recognition comes before the work. And slowly, the energy to actually complete the goal begins to disappear. This is why silent progress can be so powerful. When you stop announcing every move, your energy remains focused on execution. You become more productive, more disciplined, more centered. And when results finally appear, they carry much greater weight than words ever could. Oversharing also makes you predictable. The more people know about your every thought and emotion, the easier you become to understand and the easier you become to influence. But mystery creates uncertainty, and uncertainty often creates respect. People become curious. They wonder what you are thinking. They wonder what you are working on. They wonder what is happening in your life. And curiosity naturally draws attention. Ironically, the less you try to explain yourself, the more people become interested in you. This is one of the paradoxes of human nature. The person who constantly seeks attention usually receives less of it. The person who remains quietly focused often receives more, because mystery creates value. Think about the most memorable people you have met. Many of them probably did not speak the most. They did not reveal every detail about their lives. They carried themselves with calmness and restraint. They allowed people to discover them gradually, and that gradual discovery made them more interesting. There is also another benefit to saying less. You protect your peace. The more people know, the more opinions they offer. The more advice they give, the more criticism they provide, the more they interfere with your direction. But when you learn to keep certain things private, you preserve your energy. You give your dreams room to grow without unnecessary noise. You move in silence. You work in peace. You allow your results to become your introduction, because true power does not come from constantly revealing yourself to the world. It comes from knowing that your value does not need constant explanation. Not everyone needs access to your thoughts. Not everyone deserves your plans. Not everyone needs to understand your next move. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is smile, remain silent, and continue building your life in private. And once you become comfortable revealing less, another transformation begins to happen naturally. You stop caring so much about being understood by everyone and start discovering the freedom that comes from being completely comfortable with being misunderstood. After you stop chasing attention and stop revealing everything about yourself, another challenge appears. You begin realizing that not everyone will understand you. Not everyone will agree with your choices. Not everyone will see your intentions correctly. And for many people, this becomes unbearable. They immediately want to explain themselves. They want to correct every misunderstanding. They want everyone to see them exactly as they see themselves. They want approval. They want acceptance. But there is a hidden weakness in this need. The need to be understood by everyone often comes from the fear of being judged. And the fear of judgment quietly controls countless lives. Think about how many decisions people make simply to avoid being misunderstood. They stay silent when they should speak. They speak when they should remain silent. They follow paths they never wanted, simply because they fear what others might think. They spend enormous amounts of energy trying to manage other people's opinions. But there is a problem with this strategy. You cannot control how people see you. No matter how honest you are, someone will misunderstand you. No matter how kind you are, someone will criticize you. No matter how much you explain yourself, some people will still create their own stories about who you are. This is human nature. People see you through the lens of their own experiences, insecurities, and expectations. You could spend your entire life trying to control those perceptions and still fail. Powerful people eventually understand this truth, and because they understand it, they stop chasing universal approval. They stop trying to be understood by everyone. They become comfortable being misunderstood. This does not mean they enjoy criticism. It does not mean they become cold or careless. It simply means they no longer allow other people's opinions to control their peace. There is something incredibly freeing about this. Imagine how much energy you would recover if you stopped explaining every decision. If you stopped defending yourself against every misunderstanding, if you stopped worrying about every opinion, suddenly you would have more energy for your goals, more energy for your growth, more energy for your own life. This is one of the hidden powers of emotional independence. You stop living for the audience, you start living according to your values. Many of history's most powerful individuals were misunderstood. Some were criticized, some were mocked, some were doubted. But they continued moving forward because they understood something important. Being misunderstood is often the price of individuality. The moment you stop trying to fit into everyone's expectations, some people will become uncomfortable. The moment you begin thinking differently, some people will judge you. The moment you start protecting your peace and creating boundaries, some people will call you selfish. This is inevitable, and trying to avoid it will only keep you trapped. The truth is that needing everyone to understand you is another form of seeking attention. It is another way of asking the world for permission, but permission to be yourself, permission to make your choices, but permission to live your life. But real power begins when you no longer need that permission. You begin trusting yourself. You begin respecting your own decisions. You begin understanding that your worth does not rise or fall according to public opinion. And this creates a different kind of confidence, a quiet confidence, a mysterious confidence, because people become intrigued by those who are comfortable standing alone. There is something powerful about a person who can remain calm while being misunderstood, a person who does not rush to defend every rumor, a person who does not need to win every argument, a person who simply continues moving forward. That kind of emotional stability commands respect because it shows that your identity is rooted within yourself, not in the opinions of others. And once you become comfortable being misunderstood, another transformation naturally begins to happen. You stop making yourself constantly available and start understanding the incredible power of becoming rare, selective, and difficult to access. Once you become comfortable being misunderstood, something else begins to change. You no longer feel the need to be constantly available. You stop answering every message immediately. You stop showing up everywhere. You stop giving everyone unlimited access to your time, your energy, and your attention. And strangely enough, this often makes people appreciate you more because human nature values what feels rare. Think about anything that is available all the time. People usually take it for granted, but when something becomes limited, its value suddenly increases. The same principle applies to people. When you are constantly available, constantly responding, constantly giving your attention to everyone, people unconsciously begin to assume that your time has little value. Your presence becomes expected, and what is expected often becomes overlooked. This is why many people feel invisible despite giving so much of themselves to others. They are always there, always available, always saying yes, always making themselves easy to access. And over time, people stop appreciating what feels guaranteed. Powerful people understand something different. They understand that their attention is valuable, their time is valuable, their energy is valuable. And because of this, they become selective, not arrogant, not rude, simply intentional. They do not give themselves to everyone. They understand that access to them is a privilege, not an obligation. This creates a completely different presence. Because scarcity creates appreciation. When people know they cannot have unlimited access to you, they become more mindful of your presence. They pay more attention. They value the moments they have with you. They become curious about your life. Why? Because mystery and rarity naturally create interest. Think about the people who seem the most intriguing. Often, they are not the people constantly seeking attention. They are the ones who move quietly, the ones who disappear to focus on their goals, the ones who are not available every second of the day. Their absence creates questions, their silence creates curiosity. And curiosity creates value. Many people are afraid of this. They believe that if they stop being available, people will forget about them. But the truth is often the opposite. Constant presence can make people overlook you. Strategic absence can remind people of your value. This does not mean playing games or intentionally ignoring others. It means building a life that does not revolve around other people's attention. It means having goals, having priorities, having a purpose that is bigger than constantly seeking connection. When you are busy building yourself, you naturally become less available. And that lack of availability creates a powerful signal. It communicates that your life has direction, that your time has value, that your attention is not something given away carelessly. There is also another reason why making your presence rare is powerful. It protects your energy. Many people are emotionally exhausted because they give too much of themselves to too many people. They answer every request, attend every invitation, try to be there for everyone. Eventually, they become drained. And when your energy is constantly scattered, it becomes difficult to build anything meaningful. So selective attention solves this problem. You begin choosing carefully where your energy goes, who receives your time, who deserves your attention, and this creates peace because you stop living reactively. You stop allowing everyone to have unlimited access to your emotions. You become intentional. And intentional people often appear powerful because their presence feels valuable. They are not everywhere. They are not always available. And because of that, people notice them more when they are present. The truth is that your absence can sometimes speak louder than your presence. It reminds people that your attention is not guaranteed, that your energy has value, that your time matters. And once you understand the power of becoming rare and selective, another transformation naturally begins to happen. You stop seeking recognition altogether and start building a quiet life where your actions, your growth, and your results speak more loudly than any words ever could. After learning the power of becoming rare and selective, something unexpected begins to happen. You no longer feel the urge to announce every move you make. You stop seeking recognition. You stop needing people to applaud your efforts. You stop talking endlessly about what you plan to become and start quietly becoming it. This is where real power begins. Most people are addicted to being seen. They want others to know their goals. They want everyone to hear about their ideas. They want immediate recognition for things they have not yet accomplished. So they speak constantly. They announce every plan, every dream, every ambition. And for a brief moment, they feel important. But there is a hidden danger in this. Words create the illusion of progress. Talking about success can feel like success. Talking about discipline can feel like discipline. Talking about change can feel like change. And because of this, many people become satisfied with the appearance of growth instead of the reality of it. Powerful people understand something different. They understand that results speak more loudly than promises. They understand that true confidence does not need constant advertisement. A tree does not announce that it is growing. It simply grows, and one day everyone notices its shade. This is the power of quiet progress. When you stop talking so much about your plans, your energy stays focused on execution. You become less distracted by opinions, less influenced by criticism, less dependent on approval. You simply work silently, consistently, badly. And over time, your life begins to speak for itself. There is something deeply intriguing about a person who disappears for a while and returns transformed, a person who stops seeking attention and starts building, a person who lets their actions create curiosity. People naturally become interested in those who are quietly improving themselves because results create mystery. People begin asking questions. What changed? How did they do it? What have they been working on? And suddenly, without chasing attention, you have it. Not because you demanded it, but because you earned it. Many people waste enormous amounts of energy trying to look successful. Powerful people use that energy to become successful. There is a massive difference between the two. One seeks recognition, the other seeks growth. One performs for the audience, the other works in private, and eventually the second person surpasses the first. Because while others were talking, they were building. This is why quiet confidence is so powerful. Quiet confidence does not need to prove itself. It does not need constant validation. It trusts the process. It trusts that results will eventually speak. And when your results begin speaking, they often say more than words ever could. People respect discipline. People respect consistency. People respect transformation. Especially when it happens without noise, there is also another benefit to building quietly. You protect your peace. The more people know about your plans, the more opinions they give, the more doubts they share, the more they project their fears onto your dreams. But when you work in silence, you create space. Space to fail, space to learn, space to grow without unnecessary interference. Your goals become sacred. Your progress becomes personal. And this creates a different kind of strength because you are no longer trying to impress the world. You are trying to improve yourself. That shift changes everything. You stop competing. You stop comparing. You stop performing. You simply become better. Day by day, step by step. And eventually, your life begins to carry a certain weight, a certain presence, a certain quiet authority. Because there is something incredibly powerful about a person whose actions speak louder than their words. A person who does not announce their value, but embodies it. A person who no longer needs recognition because they are too busy building something meaningful. And once you learn to build quietly and let your results speak for themselves, one final lesson remains. The highest level of mystery and power comes when you no longer need attention, approval, or even recognition from anyone because you have mastered the art of complete emotional detachment. After learning to stop chasing attention, revealing less, becoming comfortable with misunderstanding, and building quietly, there is one final transformation left: detachment. This is where mystery becomes power. Most people are emotionally attached to everything. They are attached to being liked, attached to being noticed, attached to receiving messages, compliments, and approval. Their emotions rise and fall depending on how other people treat them. A single criticism ruins their day. A lack of attention makes them anxious. Being ignored makes them question their worth. Without realizing it, they have become prisoners of other people's reactions. This is why detachment is so powerful. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you become cold or emotionless. It simply means your inner peace is no longer controlled by external circumstances. You enjoy attention, but you do not need it. You appreciate praise, but you do not depend on it. You value relationships, but you do not lose yourself inside them. That is freedom, and freedom is attractive. There is something incredibly powerful about a person who is completely comfortable with themselves. A person who can sit alone without feeling lonely. A person who can be misunderstood without feeling the need to defend themselves. A person who can be ignored without losing confidence. Why? Because that person cannot easily be manipulated. Human beings often control one another through emotional dependence. If someone knows that you desperately need their approval, they have power over you. If they know that you cannot handle rejection, they have power over you. If they know that you need constant attention to feel valuable, they have power over you. But the moment you become detached, that power disappears because there is nothing to control. You no longer react from desperation. You no longer chase. You no longer beg. You become centered, grounded. Stable and people notice this. In fact, one of the most mysterious qualities a person can possess is emotional independence. The ability to remain calm whether people stay or leave. The ability to continue moving forward, whether people support you or criticize you. The ability to know your value without needing anyone else to confirm it. This creates a different kind of presence, a quiet strength, a quiet confidence, a quiet power. The truth is that people are naturally intrigued by those who need nothing from them, because most people are constantly seeking something: attention, validation, recognition, approval. So when they encounter someone who seems complete within themselves, it feels rare. It feels mysterious. It feels powerful. This is why the most attractive people are often not the ones trying the hardest to be attractive. The most respected people are often not the ones demanding respect. The most powerful people are often not the ones trying to prove their power because they have mastered detachment. They are not emotionally dependent on the opinions of the crowd. They know who they are, and that knowledge creates peace. Imagine how different your life would become if you stopped needing everyone to understand you. Stop needing everyone to like you. Stop needing constant attention to feel important. You would recover so much energy, so much peace, so much freedom. You would begin making decisions based on your values instead of other people's expectations. You would stop performing, stop chasing, stop exhausting yourself, and you would start living. That is real power, because in the end, the mysterious and powerful person is not someone who controls others. It is someone who has learned to control themselves, someone whose happiness is not dependent on applause, someone whose confidence is not dependent on attention, someone who can stand alone and still feel complete. And when you reach that point, something remarkable happens. The attention you once chased begins coming to you naturally, because nothing is more magnetic than a person who no longer needs it.